Hey guys, we're going to talk today about the weather, actually. We're going to talk about the weather on this one. So I live in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and the ongoing joke is always that if you don't like the weather currently, just wait a day or sometimes a few hours and it'll change anyway. And wow, I look a mess today. It's a little stressful around here lately. So yeah. Anyway, so on a farm, if you raise animals, weather goes into a big part of planning what we do, when we do it, stuff like that. And it's always been a little bit tricky living where we live because the weather can be unpredictable, but I feel like lately it's just like over the top insanity. And it's not just here. It's everywhere, and I'm not going to get into like conspiracy theories and military government weather control and end times and all that stuff. What I am going to say is that it's weird, and those of us that try to plan by the calendar and plan by the weather and the seasons are having a hard time. I'm going to use my rabbits here as an example because they're what's on the forefront of my mind right now. So it is the end of August right now, and customarily I will breed my rabbits according to the seasons because, like I said, up here in Michigan, our winters are dang cold and our summers can get pretty hot. So I purposely breed to the season, and they'll have off a few months in the winter in the coldest season, and they'll have off in the summertime in the hottest season. That just by doing that increases your risk or increases your chances of having healthy litters. So that means I start breeding again, like for fall season, I'll start breeding again in August. So then I have kits in September because historically in September it starts to get cooler. Because if it's too hot, they can actually like cook in their nest boxes because moms pull a ton of hair trying to do the right thing for their babies. But it can get so hot in there that they can actually just not good. And of course, in the wintertime, if it's too cold, if mom has them outside of the nest, they'll freeze to death. So that's why we try to plan with the seasons. So anyway, I started breeding back again the 1st of August. I have kits coming due, and I'm getting a little bit nervous here. So I just checked the weather, and so the last few days we've had a cool snap, which I'm positively in love with. We've had highs during the day in the low 70s, but our nights are cool, like in the 40s already. So we get up in the morning and it's chilly. It's layer season, like I call it. You get up in the morning and you're cold, so you put on some extra layers, but then by late morning you're stripping it off because you're warm. Anyway, I'm talking too much. But what I'm trying to say is, okay, so cool temps right now, and then I looked a week from now we're supposed to be in the 90s, like 95 for middle of September. What? If that, and the weather stuff can change, okay, but if that stays consistently true, that means I'm going to be out here having to what we call shelve kits. They get too hot, I pull them in the house, and then I bring them out to mom to nurse, and they go back in the house where it's cool, and it's just this whole big thing. It's just more work on my plate, but I mean, I'll happily do it to save my kits, but you don't see this in September. You don't see 95 in September. This is completely weird and making it really, really difficult to raise animals. I also call it like pneumonia season. This is like pneumonia weather. This isn't really a typical time to have it, but these conditions will make that happen. When you transition from cold to hot, hot to cold, and you're going back and forth, nights are really cold, and then you go to 95 in the daytime. That's stressful. That's a lot on goats, sheep. That's what we have. We have other stuff too, but the goats and the sheep are most susceptible to that. It's stressful. It's a lot on their bodies. So, I mean, all you can do is all you can do, right? And you just take it a day at a time as the weather and what it does, and you just roll with it. But these times, man, I'm telling you, these times they're strange. They are very, very strange. And even like the garden, like these last few days, I'm like, ooh, I'm starting to feel like fall. I'm like, we've started canning already. I've started doing some canning because harvest time. And yeah, just last night I was like getting all nestled down, feeling fallish, and now it's gonna turn around in a week and a half and be 95. Like, So anyway, I decided to share my musing and document that this year is just wackadoo as far as weather goes, trying to plan things, trying to keep animals alive. Survival of the fittest, folks.